This regular meeting of the Minnehaha County Planning Commission, and we'll begin with a few introductory comments. As a courtesy to everyone here tonight, please make sure that all cell phones are turned off. Please note that tonight's Planning Commission meeting will be rebroadcast via CityLink and posted on the www.minnehahacounty.org site for viewing by the general public. Action taken on the major amendment during the public hearing tonight is a recommendation that will be forwarded to the County Commission for another public hearing on Tuesday, September 27th at or after 9 a.m. Meetings of the County Commission are held in this same room.
Mike, are you using your microphone?
All right, just to make sure we hear it, I'd like to make an amendment to the agenda to remove item 3.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, Kevin, would you comment on that, please?
All right, I am Kevin Hookman from County Planning Department. I will comment that item number 3, the petitioner requested that the item be removed because he has not sent out notices. So no notices have went out for the hearing, so that's why we're removing it from the agenda.
I have a motion second to remove item number 3 from the agenda. Any further comment or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. First on the agenda is public input. Is there anyone here who wishes to speak on an item that is not on the agenda? For the regular agenda, we will follow our normal hearing procedure by requesting the planning staff to present a report on each item, and then request the petitioner to come to the podium and make a statement or answer any questions. Anyone from the audience wishing to address the item shall be recognized by the chair, move to the podium, and state their name and address for the record. The Planning Commission will then discuss the matter and take appropriate action. Item number 1 on the agenda is approval of the minutes of the July 25th, 2022 meeting. Item number 2 is a plan development major amendment 22-02 to amend the High Prairie Ranch plan development to change sub-area D to sub-area A on the property legally described as Lot 20 of High Prairie Ranch, in addition to the Northwest Quarter, Section 8, Township 102 North, Range 49 West. That is in Mapleton Township. The petitioner is David Rogness. Property owner is Dorothy Rogness. It is at the southeast of the 257th Street and 473rd Avenue intersection. Kevin?
Madam Chair, we still need to approve the minutes first.
Were the minutes on the consent?
There was no consent agenda, so the minutes are part of the regular agenda.
Madam Chair, I would make a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
I second.
We already approved the agenda. We need a motion for the minutes.
Is that your same motion, Jeff?
I guess so.
Becky, second it? Okay, let's vote on the approval of the minutes of the July 25th, 2022 meeting. All those in favor?
Aye.
Oppose? Motion passes. To item number 3? No, item number 2, sorry.
All right, good evening. I'm Kevin Hookman again from the County Planning Department. Item number 2 is a major amendment this is the second time this item has been in front of you. The first time the Planning Commission heard this on May 23rd of 2022. At that time, the Planning Commission decided to defer action specifically to understand better the potential wastewater impacts near the Big Sioux River. Staff reviewed, here's the site, I'll show you that to kind of remind you the site location. It's east of Crooks. approximately 3 miles. I have a water source map here in front of you. You can see that the property is not within any sort of water source protection overlay or over any shallow aquifers. You can see the property is outlined in kind of that light blue, and then there's another blue line to the right on the map where there's that hashing. That's where the floodplain is located. The parcel is approximately 350 feet from the river, which is also the same distance away from the floodplain itself because of the cut banks. And that's at its closest location at the tip of the property. I also say, since the last time we heard this item, the petitioner has hired an excavator to examine the soil conditions of the landscape. I have these photos in the wrong order, apparently. But the digger dug several holes that are 8 feet deep. And as you can see in these photos, the holes were dry and appeared to be conducive for on-site wastewater treatment if he was to install septic systems on the property. One other difference that has come about since the previous meeting is the petitioner is going to be requesting or suggesting that he would rather have 5 lots instead of 10, and I will bring it back up to the site or the subdivision map here. So in his sketch plan, so this is the subdivision plan from when this was presented in 1999. Then with the modifications of the arrows on there showing that the lots will be subdivided more along the lot lines, with those lots combining together into 5 lots rather than the 10 lots previously stated. Staff would like to remind the Planning Commission that this is a similar hearing as what was held at for a rezoning request near Hartford earlier in June. Both the County Commission and the Planning Commission denied the request of that Hartford one because of the potential precedents and concerns for neighboring property owners. Staff continues that their concern about this property and the precedents that may be set if this is rezoned in the future subdivision requests in the area that would happen if this is approved. Let's see. The original site plan for this subdivision was originally set for an equestrian site and with a small residential sub area, a jointly owned horse barn or equestrian barn, and then an area to ride the horses in for recreation. That has largely been dissolved, and the common areas are now owned by one person, but the residential areas are still there and occupied and fully built out. So the kind of agricultural intent of the subdivisions and the development is largely no longer present. So this would just be adding density to the rural area. Even though there is the staff findings that the septic systems would probably work on the property and it's not over the Big Sioux River, the concerns over precedence of the property is still part of the staff's recommendation, and staff does recommend denial of the major amendment. And I know that the petitioner is here and others are here to talk about as well. So if you have any questions, I'm here to answer.
Any questions for him? I guess not at this time. Is the petitioner here? Will you please step forward, state your name and address?
Dave Rognes, 25065 467th Avenue, Colton.
Anyone have any questions for him?
Dave, what's your opinion on what staff's report it was, what Kevin just had to say about it? Do you have any thoughts that you want to add or
I know there's a need for housing, and I think this is a good place for it. It's all in one location instead of, one for every 40 acres is farm from an agricultural standpoint. You got a house here, a house down here, you're farming around all of them. This is a good spot.
Dave, you're not using eligibilities though, right?
Correct.
You're creating this
Correct.
subdivision.
Correct, rezoning it. And the reason we want bigger lots, probably get a bigger house and also an opportunity for someone to put a shed up if they'd like.
Sir, what are the size of the lots? Are they about an acre? Or-
A little over 2 acres each. When you combine them, all of them with the 10 originally were a little over 1 acre each. So depending on how we split them up, they're a little over 2 each.
Any other questions for him? Not at this time. We may have you come back, though. Anyone else here in the room that cares to speak to this item? Okay. Commissioners?
It does look to be an acreage which it would be difficult to farm, but I'm not a farmer. Maybe farmer people could tell me something. It's close to the river. It's got some terrain to it. It's got trees. It's not like a section with nothing on it.
Any other questions, comments?
I guess I'll, excuse me, make a comment. Well, I guess I'm not a farmer by any means. And I appreciate the need for housing in the rural area and the, what a commodity that has become. I don't know, I mean, if we were looking at this from the standpoint of transferring 5 eligibilities, I think it would be I don't say a no-brainer, but it'd be an easy decision. But I don't know how we can approve this one, having just denied one in similar manner a month or two ago.
Any other comments?
Thanks, Madam Chair. I kind of echo what Mike just said. I think, I guess I got to go along with what we did a couple months ago with the one by Hartford. I get it, it's probably not the best farm ground there, but yet again, we're setting a precedence, I guess, for future growth or development.
Anyone else?
Madam Chair, I'd just like to echo exactly what Mike and Adam have said. Yeah, it's not ideal farm ground, but when we just denied out at Hartford here a few months ago, it'd be like, why did we approve something like this when we denied that? So.
Anyone else? I'll entertain a motion. Jeff?
Does Dave want to come back and say anything before we have a motion or anything?
Sir, you have any other further comments on this?
No, I think it's just a good place to build. Excellent spot, close to Sioux Falls. Like you said, it's a good spot, and the need for housing, you know what that is. It's really good. And this is, I don't know what the one was at Hartford, I have no idea, but if this is a better spot or not, I can't answer that because I don't know what Hartford was. But as far as the septic, everything fits with the building that's required.
You'll be able to appeal this to the regular commission if we turn you down. you know, if your neighbors don't want it, it can also be appealed to them.
I don't know.
Madam Chairman, this is an item that regardless of whether it's appealed or not appealed, it will go to the county commission. By state law, we need to have a hearing on a rezoning request, so it will go to the county commission, so,
Scott, would it go, even if we say deny it or
yes.
whatever, so it's gonna go to the county commission either way?
It'll go to the county commission with a recommendation from you, either approval or a denial recommendation.
And that's the one in September you were talking about? Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
Madam Chair,
Becky?
the other thing I would agree with what everyone else has said, and plus it is contrary to what we have in our 2035 plan. So I will be voting to deny.
Okay, anyone else? Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion to deny item number 2.
Madam Chair, we'll both second it.
Okay, I have a motion and a second to deny item number 2, that's that plan development. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Item number 2 has been denied.
No old business, no new business. However, we have a short presentation by Tyler Klatt from the commission office on a program which we may be promoting and considering for the planning commission to use, which would allow electronic access of the agendas. And that, so we're gonna be talking a little bit about that. So I'll introduce Tyler and he can have a short presentation for you.
Good evening, everyone. Let me plug this in here. Okay. So I'm Tyler Klatt. I'm the Assistant Commission Administrative Officer. And what Scott mentioned is essentially what we're trying to discuss here today. So beginning in 2022, the commission and the planning commission really moved to an electronic system for hosting all of our agendas, our meeting materials, and minutes. The major, probably 3 benefits that we've seen from this are first, the transparency of it all. It allows all the meeting materials, minutes, everything to be available as soon as the staff creates them. They upload them to this website and they're listed on the county's website for everyone to access. The second, and kind of in tandem with that, is that those materials then live on in perpetuity, as long as we're paying our membership to Civic Clerk. Allows everyone to go back and say, you know, what did the planning commission do on this parcel? And you can type in the parcel number or whatever specific kind of characteristic you want to search for, and you'll be able to pull up every time the commission or the planning commission discuss that specific topic. And finally, the one benefit that we've seen that we didn't expect is the media's use of this tool. So all of our memos, all of our materials, they're able to access those immediately and write their stories or ask much better questions, we found, once they have that material. So that's been an unintended consequence, unintended positive consequence we found. So here's what it looks like. This is, so a little bit of background for you, why should this matter for you? Well, what we would propose and what the county commissioners all have is a login. So they're able to log into this website to a side that the public doesn't see. It's only for commission staff or commissioners. So you log in here, and it takes you to a page that lists all the agendas, all the minutes. You see on the bottom there's an item for notes, and the media section we don't use. But what it does is it lists every commission meeting and planning commission meeting that's been held. And then you can go in and select whichever meeting you want to look at. Probably the most useful thing is that if you had this, you'd go in and pull up the August 22nd meeting, and then you'd come into here, and this is just an example, but you'd be able to select each individual agenda item and say, well, I want to see, what's the staff report here, and get a better idea of what the material is. Now, I should point out, this wouldn't be any different than the materials you get sent currently by staff. This is a different or another way to receive that information. What you get when you click on a specific agenda item is a few different things here. So you'll see there's an attachments link, there's some notes, and then the speakers item, which we don't use either. So the attachments are all the different photos, site plans, GIS photos, all those different things that are attached to each item. Those would all be uploaded here. And then in the notes section is an item where you can, let me see, it says private. So those are specific to your account. So if you want to type out notes that say, I really hate this idea, no one's going to see that, but except for you, and you can remember that, oh yeah, you don't like that one. So that's where you can put all that information. And I think what might be maybe especially useful for a planning commission is the last slide here, which doesn't show, oh gosh, okay. I did not know I did transitions here. So what happens is that you can pull up a specific attachment. So say you want to pull up a memo, you want to pull up a map. So you can go to that map or that memo, and you come to what this would actually show you is the entirety of the, everything that's on there. So you can draw lines, you can put arrows at things, you can write boxes over stuff, you can highlight items, you can squiggle there, you can see. It just gives you a lot of different. No, I don't know what that is. That's just the fake text generated. Yes, I know. Let's say I know Latin. There you go. But what it does is it gives you some options to kind of highlight and note things that, not that you can't do that with paper and pen, but it's saves some ease of access because you can access this wherever, whenever, which you don't necessarily have that ability to now, I would say. Those are kind of the highlights of it. I don't think they're gonna like strike out things. If you really like it, you can put a stamp of approval on it. But those are sort of the highlights of what this program offers. Again, it would kind of supplant or maybe supplement the way you get your materials now. And that's sort of a discussion that I think you and Scott and the planning staff should have, is whether this is something you'd like to pursue a little bit further. Some of the implementation things is the county commission, they all use iPads during the meetings. I think we'd probably explore a way to have those available here for you too. So when you come in, you log into your account and all your stuff's right there. So those are kind of the highlights of this program. And if you have any questions, I'd be happy to try to answer.
Tyler, we can actually log into Civic Plus or whatever from the outside, right? I mean,
Yeah.
and so the regular citizen can go in at the county website and see all of this except for your private comments. But you can look at the agenda and see what's coming up, and that's another entree into this program.
Absolutely.
But we're all concerned in the county commission about, cutting down on paper and cutting down on keeping paper records and all that, and so, take a look at this, see if it can work for you, and we'll probably try an experiment, don't you think, with bringing in the laptops, and how many, do you guys and gals have high-speed internet at home?
And I would, to echo what Commissioner Barth was saying, is the commission, or the planning commission staff has already, along with our staff, has been uploading the agendas and the minutes and the meeting materials to the public version of this. This is just kind of an introduction to how you, as a commission, would be able to use this product.
Meanwhile, every day I work, a tree dies.
There you go.
If we were to use this, would we be able to see site pictures then and all that on there before we would come to the meeting then? Would that be able to be downloaded then?
Yeah, so I don't know what, so for example, with the county commission, our deadline is, we try to get everything published by, basically the end of the day of Friday. So as soon as we publish all of that, we let the commissioners know, and then they're able to go and see everything that they want to see right then.
So like this iPad, would we have access to take it home if we so desired, or no? And then, my last question, we as taxpayers, what is this gonna cost?
Okay, so no, on the iPads, those stay here. I don't know, we purchased the product last September. So it's already being used, and I assume the county commission will continue to use this as we go forward. Like Commissioner Barth was saying, it saves on expenses for printing. I mean, eventually it'll even out for printing versus the cost of the product. But really, it's the kind of intangible benefit of the transparency and getting facts right for the media to be able to report things accurately. And if you want, I can find out how much the original contract was, but
Well, I was just kind of curious, because, you know, everything comes with a price.
absolutely.
And I know this mailing the material out and printing it, that all adds up too. You know, it's just, I was just curious.
Sure. Use your phone. We're working on fixing that
Sorry,
too.
Tony. I have chair notes that I have to read. Will those be on there as well for me?
I would assume no, but that would be something that you
Okay.
and they would have to work on. Because what gets published isn't unique to each individual commissioner. It's the same for everybody. If that can be for everybody, I suppose that, but then it would also go out to the public too. So there's a few learning curves there, things you have to kind of weigh, but I don't know for that specific example.
How about when we have other commissions here besides us, like Del Rapids and like Sioux Falls? Are we going to have enough of these, whatever you call them?
So probably not.
Okay.
For example, what we do with the city of Sioux Falls, obviously they have their own infrastructure set up in the city council chambers. We send our commissioners with the iPads that we provide. But each commission, and I assume with the planning commission, the joint meetings, well, I guess I shouldn't assume this, but we publish our agenda and our materials, and the city does that same process as well. I don't know if that's the same for joint planning meetings necessarily. That's one thing that we do need to kind of work through, is how this would work when there's joint meetings being held.
So Tyler, this is essentially just a web interface, so if I'm at home, I can use my own computer and log on, is that correct? And then with that same comment, back to the point of having enough iPads, if I wanted to bring my laptop in and, if we're not using county property, is that possible as well?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So it's, you could use it, you can use your phone, iPad, computer.
Any other questions for him?
Madam Chair,
Becky?
this kind of echoes what Doug asked. It has to do with there being enough licenses. I know sometimes where I work, they limit access to programs because of the cost of having enough licenses for everybody to have access.
That's a great question. And so we actually have every department head, and I think whether it's deputy or assistant department head has access. Multiple people in the state's attorney's office, all of our commissioners. At this point, we haven't run into that issue. I don't know that there is a cap on that. I can double check, but that's a good question.
Anyone else?
To answer your question, Commissioner Doty, Civic Plus, the initial contract was $10,000, $10,286, and the annual renewal is $8,589. So,
Thank you.
And the county commissioners are using this full-time right now. And then when we come in, they bring in a iPad, that we log into. And it's got all that stuff.
Anyone else?
If we're done with this, Madam Chair, I guess I have a question for Scott.
thank you.
Besides me, who else is going to have a term coming up, ending?
I just looked at that today, and I don't believe anyone's term is up, but I'll have to double check.
Make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thanks, everyone.